one of the shows that we don't do very often here, the kinds of shows we don't do very often here, are full symphony orchestras.
Why?
Well, we have a great symphony orchestra with the Waterloo Cedar Falls
Yes.
Symphony Orchestra, and then they do some lovely work, and we certainly don't want to be in competition with them, but at the same time, every once in a while it's great to bring in an international orchestra. An international orchestra brings a different cultural perspective, but the other thing I always love about it is there's just so many of them. And what I love about these orchestras who tend to be, their only job is playing in this orchestra. That's the only thing they do. They don't teach on the side. They're not a community orchestra like most orchestras are in Iowa. And so when they play, they practice a lot more. And so what you get is when they play loud, they have a much larger dynamic range. In other words, when they play loud, it thunders. And when they play soft...
Which in this hall,
you just hear
like,
everything.
yeah.
I mean, you feel it in your belly.
Yeah.
And then when they play soft, when they get to that pianissimo, they're also incredibly soft. So it's like rubbing two pieces of paper together when the violins are playing pianissimo. It just, you can hear it. And that's one of the reasons the hall's so great. I mean, it sounds great when it's loud, but boy, when it's soft, and you can just hear it, and it's almost like a rustling, you know what I mean? A very soft noise. And that's that dynamic range. And when you have that broad a dynamic range, it means the music can go up and down and much broader.
Those are always the moments where I really am afraid someone's going to cough. Or that I'm going to cough. Because it's so...
I think most musicians would tell you the audience are performers too. And, these are live performances. And the cough is okay.
It's hard, though.
It is hard. I always find interesting is how rarely people cough at those moments.
Because they're holding
people
it
cough
in.
during the loud times, and they don't cough during the... Well, you almost stop breathing to some extent when you're listening so hard. And... That's just, you get so engaged with the music. Now,
we book classical quite early in the process, so this one has been confirmed for quite a while. And from the beginning, because I am unable, I'm Midwestern. And so the correct pronunciation does not come to me easily. Right. So it's been known as the Wroclaw Philharmonic for me.
The real name is, of course, the Wroclaw.
Wroclaw.
That's very good.
I do good.
That's better than I think I've ever heard you do.
I've been practicing alone.
We've been practicing in the mirror. But Coleslaw works. But Wroclaw is, of course, a city in Poland. It's, I think, the third biggest city in Poland. And so it has, like many European cities, they have these wonderful professional orchestras that are supported by the city and by the state. And so they just have this long-standing tradition. And they have an orchestra for, they have hundreds of years of tradition.
Do they tour to the States every year?
They don't tour every year.
Okay.
Generally speaking, these orchestras mostly play in their home halls. They might do a little national tour or something, but mostly they only come internationally occasionally. It's very hard to do that. It's a lot of people, a lot of logistics and things.
And the pianist we book that is booked with the Wroclaw.
Coleslaw
Philharmonic. It's so much easier to say Coleslaw.
It is.
I'm sorry.
It is.
Is Garrett Golson, and he's been here before solo?
Yes, he came as a soloist. And Garrick is going to be playing. He's sort of like the other reason to come. It sort of almost makes it two shows in one because he is known as probably one of the greatest masters of Chopin, the great piano composer.
Which he will be performing.
Here for us.
The Piano Concerto No. 2 in F minor, Opus 21.
Which is, everyone's going to recognize that song, and he literally is the guy in the world who plays that song.
Yeah.
If you could, if you could pick anybody, he'd very likely be the person. And he has a wonderful technique, and he's a wonderful player. But one of the things that I love about him, you know me, I always like people that have, again, that big dynamic power.
Yeah.
And he's got enormous physical strength. And he's very high stamina, so he can play loud, and he can play those lilting, almost lullaby-like notes. And so he gets more out of a piano than most pianists. He gets the full range out of it.